America's World Cup fever reaching new highs this weekend as underdog Team USA prepares to battle it out against the Netherlands. And illness and injuries could end up helping them clinch a win in their bid to make the quarterfinals. Much of the Team Netherlands is battling the flu, and it is threatening their odds of winning tomorrow. Meantime, Team USA celebrating another win because Christian Pulisic just cleared to play in tomorrow's game after a brutal injury during Wednesday's game against Iran. And these new developments could change the odds, making betting on Team USA a lucrative scenario. VP of Content at sports betting network VSiN, Ben Fox, joins us live. Ben, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. We know there was certainly a lot of buildup to the game against Iran. Team USA won. So how does betting compare ahead of tomorrow's match?
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is most likely going to be the most bet World Cup match for the U.S. ever. And I should qualify that a little bit in that sports betting has only been widespread legalized since 2018. So actually in 2018, there were only 3 U.S. states, I believe Nevada, Delaware, and New Jersey, that had legalized sports betting. We're now over 30, as well as widespread mobile sports betting. So it's going to be a very well-bet match, as you would expect. A lot of money on the U.S. to advance. There's basically 85 to 90% of the bets and the money on the U.S. And sportsbooks are in kind of an interesting situation where they have a lot of liability, meaning if the U.S. actually advances and then potentially wins the World Cup, obviously great for the U.S., not so great for the sportsbooks. But they do want them to advance each round to have bettors continue to be interested in the U.S. team.
All right, so Ben, we already know now that Pulisic is in for tomorrow. We also know that the Netherlands dealing with a flu outbreak. How is that impacting the odds?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And again, we haven't heard that much on the Dutch side about this. A little comment from their coach. Certainly sounds like something going through the team. It hasn't really impacted the odds too much on the three-way line. Netherlands still about -110, slipped a bit to -105 with the U.S. plus 350 on the three-way line at DraftKings. So it slipped a little bit towards the U.S., not too big of an impact so far. I think we'll probably really learn tomorrow morning, and especially when the starting 11 is announced. If there are any starters that are out, that will have an impact before the game, right leading up to kickoff.
All right, well, Ben, you certainly know this. The AGA, American Gaming Association, estimating more than 20 million Americans will bet almost $2 billion on the World Cup. How does that compare to previous World Cups and just to other sports in general?
Yeah, so this is, again, astronomically more than the World Cup in 2018. And again, I think it will be astronomically more in 2026, especially with the World Cup here in the U.S. So it continues to grow. By comparison, 31 million was the AGA's estimate for this year's Super Bowl, with $7.6 billion. So about a quarter of that soccer is by far, a quarter of that was bet on the Super Bowl as compared to the World Cup. The Super Bowl is much bigger, obviously bigger in the U.S. The World Cup is the most bet sporting event across the world, but not as big in the U.S. as the Super Bowl, as you would expect.
Yeah, certainly expect that, but we would love to see Team USA advance. All right, Ben, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.